Negotiations continue in the effort to move the coal piles in Green Bay. The company Reiss says they have agreed to a meeting with the city and Brown County to negotiate a new location. It comes after calls from a state agency providing a $15 million grant to move the piles, asked for all parties to, quote, sit in a room and come to an agreement, end quote. Local leaders are looking to move the coal piles so the downtown riverfront property can be redeveloped. Earlier this evening, Brown County Executive Troy Streckenbach and Brown County Board of Supervisors Chair Patrick Buckley issued a statement saying the city and county met Friday to discuss how to move forward, and quote, the city and county agreed at the meeting that the alternate site should be discussed further. A meeting date has not been finalized, but the county looks forward to the city finding a date in the coming weeks that is amenable to all three parties, end quote.